If you're anything like me, you remember a time when racing games were so much more than just driving fast. They were an entire vibe. Neon-soaked streets, blazing soundtracks, cars you could spend hours perfecting. Today, I want to talk about why 2000s racing games weren't just good, they were the best we ever got. Because let's be honest, modern racing games might be prettier, but they don't hit the same. So buckle up, let's take a trip back to the golden era of street racing games. First, let's set the scene. It's the early 2000s. Fast and Furious is absolutely exploding in theaters. Car culture is everywhere. Import tuners, street racing, car meets, crazy neon lighting. And these games knew exactly what they were doing. Need for Speed Underground didn't just slay your race at night. It put you in the driver's seat of a subculture. Underglows, custom hoods, vinyl wraps, gigantic spoilers. It was all about style and attitude. These weren't just time trials on sanitized racetracks. They were love letters to an outlaw lifestyle. You weren't playing game, you were living the scene.
Yeah, big deal. It was one race. It ain't gonna happen again. You can't do that! We have a deal! Look, just give me one more chance. I can take it. You're nothing but bad luck! I took you out once, and I'm gonna do it again! I'm calling you out! Right here, right now! Everything on the line! You down, or what?
What really set 2000s racing games apart? Storytelling. Games like Need for Speed Underground 2 didn't just throw you on a track, they gave you a reason to care. You had an actual villain, Caleb, taunting you through cutscenes, setting up challenges, culminating in that final showdown that felt personal. You weren't just winning races, you were getting revenge, taking over the city, proving yourself. And then there was customization. This was the decade when racing games let you build your dream. You didn't just pick a car and race it, you transformed it. Body kits that made it look like a street rocket, custom rims to show your taste, hood scoops, window tints, neon underglows that lit up the night, engine upgrades, turbo kits, nitrous systems. Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition took this even further, partnering with real magazines and aftermarket brands to make it feel authentic. You could make your car look clean, flashy, menacing, or utterly ridiculous. It was all about expression. Today, you might get 5 paint presets and 2 spoiler shapes locked behind DLC. And let's be real, the soundtracks were legendary. These games didn't just have music, they had the music. Need for Speed Underground had that gritty early 2000s hip hop and rap. Lil Jon literally yelling in your ear to get hyped for the next street race. Most Wanted had rock, metal, electronic. It made every police chase feel like a music video. Burnout 3, emo, punk, alt rock, blasting as you sent rivals into guardrails at 150 miles per hour. These were soundtracks you remembered. Even now, if you hear those songs, you're instantly back in your teenage room at 2 a.m. Controller in, Neon City rolling past at 120 miles an hour. Another reason 2000s racing games were unbeatable is that they didn't care about being realistic. They cared about being fun. Need for Speed Most Wanted turned police chases into epic battles, smashing through billboards, ducking spike strips, launching off highway ramps. Burnout 3 Takedown was absolute chaos, rewarding you for crashing, spinning cars into oncoming traffic, and creating the biggest pile-ups imaginable. Midnight Club gave you an entire open city to explore, with shortcuts, rooftops, and hidden routes you had to learn to master. These games trusted you to figure it out. No forced racing lines, no mandatory assists, no tutorial pop-ups every 30 seconds. Just speed, freedom, and pure arcade adrenaline. And it wasn't just the big franchises. The 2000s were full of weird, ambitious, and forgotten experiments. Juiced had this whole street cred and betting system. You had to risk your car to earn respect. Street Racing Syndicate went full Fast and Furious clone, with licensed cars, cutscenes, even street meet events with real-life models. Test Drive Unlimited let you free roam across Hawaii, buying houses, collecting exotic cars, cruising with friends. They weren't always perfect, but they tried things. They had personality. They weren't just copy-pasting the same formula every year. Part of why these games were so good is they were of their time. Back then, car culture was mainstream. Fast and Furious made street racing cool, even if it was ridiculous. Music was wild, fashion was out there. Gaming didn't take itself so seriously. Developers leaned into the neon-soaked aesthetic. They made games that felt alive, loud, dangerous, and fun. And honestly, that vibe is almost impossible to recapture today. So what happened? The street racing craze cooled off. Licensing real cars, music, and brands got expensive. Gamers wanted either pure sims or open world forever games with live service models. Microtransactions changed design. Car packs, skins, and battle passes replaced the old days of unlocking everything through play. Suddenly, that magic of buying a full game with 20 plus cars and 20 soundtracks built in started to fade. Developers stopped taking risks, and the big budget neon drenched arcade racer became an endangered species. That's why I think the 2000s were the best era of racing games. They weren't just about racing, they were about culture, freedom, personality. They made you want to race, made you care about customizing every inch of your car, made you feel like an outlaw street racer. And sure, gaming has moved on, but we'll always have those classics. So tell me in the comments, what was your favorite 2000s racing game? Which one do you think defines the era? If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe for more gaming retrospectives and honest takes. And I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Cheers.